Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Anne from Anne of Green Gables. For this pattern, you're going to need a hook and a holding hook if you'd like one. C-clip your loom in the offset configuration. For bands, we'll be needing some orange skin tone. I'm using gold for the hat. If you've got another similar color of a light brown or yellow, that will be fine. For the eyes, blue bands or beads. I used beads originally. I think I'm going to use some bands in the video. For the boots, I'm using black. And for the dress, I've got white and blue. But you could reverse those colors or use a pale green or a gray instead of the blue if you wanted to. Okay, I think we're ready to start. Let's begin with the feet, the boots. We need one single black band wrapped onto the hook 1, 2, 3 times. So you'll have about 4 loops there. And place this onto 2 sets of double bands. So this is 1 set of double bands. And the second one, 2 together, run it through. Now I'm going to take a single band, stretch it, twist it, double it over. And this is going to give a nice little bend where the ankle is. Replace. And then we need 2 more sets of double black bands. So 2 together again. 1 and 2. And then switch to the color that you'll want at the bottom of the dress under the apron. I'm using blue here, so we're going to need 2 of that color. Put it on the hook and slide your foot onto it, replace. Now here's where you could use a holding hook to store your boot, and if you want to keep it where it is, that's fine too. I'm going to leave mine in place and make the other boot. Single black, wrap 1, 2, 3 onto 2 sets of double black, 1 and 2. Didn't go so well. Let's try that again. Onto a doubled over single, stretch, twist, bring it back onto itself, slide it on, and then 2 more sets of double black together. 1, 2, and 1 set of the blue or dress color. 2 bands together, bring it through. And at this point we can go straight to the loom, and we're going to do the body and then we'll add do the head part last. So 2 skin tone bands from the top center to the second down in the center. And then we're switching to the dress color that you want to have show on top here. So I'm sticking with my blue. We'll come down once more in the middle with double bands from the second peg down to the third peg down. And then repeat that with double blue bands from the second peg down in the center to the second pegs down in the side. And then we're going to switch to white on all of the rows, and we're going to come down until, let me just do a check here, until we get to the second last peg from the bottom. So I'll count that up for you as I go. So starting at the second peg from the top, we'll put down 2 bands at a time. And we'll need, let's see how many sets this is, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 altogether. The last one will be blue. And it will be the same layout on the opposite side and also on the middle row, although the middle row will start a little bit lower. No, I guess it will. Middle row we will start at the third peg down. The others we start right where those shoulder pieces are. Anyways, let me put them on and then I'll hold it up. You can see what I mean. So that one snapped. So right now I'm just laying out sets of double whites, moving downwards along the loom. When I get to the last peg, that's going to be a space for the blue to go. A couple more. And blue is on the bottom, and then I'll hold this up right away. Okay, well, let's make our arms next. Actually, we can put our legs on now. We'll do that next since they're right here. Take 2 blue bands, put it on the end of the hook, slide both of the legs onto it, and stretch it across the bottom pegs on your loom. Get between the, oh, this looks like it twisted over. Let's try that again. You want to get between the feet, the legs, and we're going to stretch those bands up over the center bottom, like so. Okay, now we can make our arms. The hook is free. We need a 2 skin tone bands. Wrap them on the hook 1, 2, or 3 times, and we'll put this onto 2 skin tone bands. And then we're going back to the dress sleeve color, and we'll do 8 sets of double bands in that color. So for me, once more, it will be blue. So take 2, pull it through. This is the second set. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7 and 8. You can put this onto the hook on the second peg down on the side. If you want to keep it here and do the other arm first, that's fine, but this is ready to go on. So I'm going to bring the bands off the hook and onto the second peg down. And then we need one more of these for the opposite side. So 2 skin tones wrapped together 1, 2, or 3 times. Hold on to 2 skin tone bands. And then we've got our 8 sets of double sleeve colored blue bands. Last one. If you're wondering why I'm putting a few bands aside here, I'm seeing the ones that are a little bit more stretched out, and I'm keeping those on hand for when we need our next doubled over singles. They're already kind of stretchy for that. Okay, so here we have our arms on. We've got the rest of the loom filled. We're ready to put some holding bands on. So we'll start at the bottom here. And the second peg's from the bottom. Take a blue band or white band, bring it across so that it covers all 3 in a triangular fashion. And then we're going to do, I guess we should have started from the top because we've got a doubled over single third. So, okay, go to the third peg from the top, take a white, stretch it across your third pegs down, repeat underneath, and then the next one's going to be a doubled over single white. And the rest will be white, but all singles. So just bring it across, we're making a triangle each time. I missed a peg there, there we go. More, and then we can start on our side extensions. It's going to give the body a little more body and shape. Okay, that's good for that. And side extensions, we need a blue wrapped 2 or 3 times around the hook. I think I'll do 3 wraps. And that's going to go onto 2 blues together, and then onto another 2 blues, and then 7 sets of double white bands. And this is a piece we're gonna make in the hook and then add onto the sides, onto each, or one of these for each of the sides. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The bands that are on the hook now will go onto the 5th peg from the top, I believe. I think that looks right. And then we're going to be stretching it. And as we stretch it, you'll see the links will separate, will appear. And from each link, I'll try and do it this way so you can hopefully see it a bit better. From each of these links, we're going to take one little piece out of the chain. Stretch it down to the next one. And this looks like I didn't calculate it right. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Something's funny here. Should be right. Anyways, let me put the bottom piece on and then we'll see what happens here. Okay. Well, maybe we'll have an extra piece stretched over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not sure what happened there, but it should still work okay. You just might have to connect the bottom piece to 2 separate pegs, or you can go back and make an extra one. Oh no, I know what it was. I'm just missing one of these chains here. There. So that last little nub should be left loose, and the rest of these should correspond to each of the pegs. That does work. Okay, next blue. I'll take from here. Single wrap it 1, 2, or 3 times and pull it onto 2 sets of double blue. It's 1, 2, and then 7 sets of double white. 2, 3, 4, 5. I was actually very surprised. I tried searching up a Rainbow Loom and a Green Gables and there wasn't one. I found a couple of Pippi Longstockings and she's similar in make, but I can't believe nobody has posted one of these, at least as far as I've been able to find. I'm gonna attach the second side here symmetrically opposite to the other through the first side. So same thing, attach it on the 5th peg down, take a piece out of each link. We're going to stretch it until all of these get connected here. If you're having a really, really terrible time, you can always start at the bottom and put your blue over first. Okay, here we go. And we should be all ready to loom this up. So let's start in the side, and you can see there's a set of double bands coming along the bottom. We need to get the bottom 2 blue, and to do that, to collect those, take your hook with the open part facing up towards the top of the loom, push back the bands on the top, hook up the bottom 2, ease it around and bring it onto the next peg. And then you're going to look for the next 2, which are white. The 2 on the bottom are white. Push back the bands, reach and collect, push back, collect. If you need to pull your bands out to the side first to see them better, that's always an option. But definitely take your time because you want to make sure you're getting the right bands. And we have some here that are of the same color and sitting on the same pegs. So I'm pushing back that triangle holding band and looping up. Once you get to the 2nd peg from the bottom, which is where we have our arms, you'll need to reach in for the bottom 2 blue, and they're coming diagonally in from the 2nd center peg. You want to wiggle those around and bring them back onto the 2nd center peg. Loop up the opposite side in the same way, so start at the bottommost peg, push back the bands that are in the way and collect only the bottom 2. Turn your loom around if you need a better view. And reach in under the arm for the bottom 2 blue, bring them to the center. The last thing before we can take the dress off is to go back to the bottom one last time and onto the center peg, bring your bottom 2 forward. There shouldn't be anything in your way on that one. And loop straight up to the top of the loom. 2 bands, only 2 bands each time. And those holding bands should not be in your way. Finally get the bottom 2 skin tone from that 2nd peg from the top and bring it onto the top center peg. Hold on to the bands on the top center peg and you can release the rest of the body from the loom. So if you just put your hook in on the top and rip it off, something's probably gonna snap or come loose. This way you can see if there's a problem. It's easier to catch it in the moment. It's also gentler on your looms and your bands. Your hooks as well if you've got like a weak plastic one, but that shouldn't be as much of an issue anyway. If you see anything coming loose as you're taking this off, try and grab it, hook it in. You might find yourself going back to fix something before you go forward. That's okay, sometimes that's part of the process. And when most of the dress is off, put your hook through the bands on the top center peg. Take them off and remove from the loom. You can make any adjustments that you feel the need to make here. If you have loose bands, you can pull them in. Let's set this aside for a moment, and I'm going to get at my pattern for the face here. So I'm using gold for the hat, and the bulk of this will be done on the loom, but the hair and the hat rim I will do on the hook. It's Starting with the straw for the hat at the top though, take 2 bands, bring them from the top center to the top side, come down to the other side with 2 more, and then down on each row once with double gold or straw colored bands, like so. Now as I said, I will be adding the brim after, and I'm not really gonna stitch it in so much as bring it around, so if you have another method you prefer, go for it, or if you want, jump ahead, see how this comes out, what you think, and go from there. We're going to switch to orange and come down once on each row with double bands and your chosen hair color. And I'm using the darker orange just because it gives more contrast to the hat. Now we go to skin tone, and we'll come down 3 times with double skin tone bands down the middle. So starting at that 3rd peg down, come down once, twice, and 3 times. And then we'll need 2 sets of double bands on either side. And we need to come inwards from the 4th and 5th pegs to on the sides to the 6th pegs on the center, like so. And repeat to the opposite side. Grab an orange holding band to stretch across the 2nd pegs down from the top, and we'll have a doubled over single skin tone on the 3rd pegs down, or you could use, I think we do want that color, and doubled over single skin tone across the 5th pegs down, and I've left this one open for a moment just because that's where the eyes are going to go. So if you're maybe I'll put the body on right now so that it's out of the way here. That's going to go into the 6th peg down in the middle. If it's really in your way, you can stretch and put the neck bands over the peg below. For the eyes, if you're using beads, you can transfer them onto your hook or from your hook onto a doubled over skin tone band using your hook, which will look a lot like this. Or you can use a piece of dental floss to help you get it on, or a thin needle wire. I've wrapped each of these 2 bands 3 times and placed them on the hook, and now if you're doing this with large beads, you can do the same thing. You take a skin tone, twist it over, put it on, slide over, and if you can keep them separate, it's good. We're going to stretch this from the 4th peg down to the 4th peg down on the other side. And as I said, if you've got beads with a small hole, you might want to use floss or wire to help get them on. Separate the eyes. Take the band that they're sitting on and bring the top part of it over the 4th peg down in the center. You will notice, well, these are a little bit pale here against the loom, but you'll be able to see them. You will notice the bands are going to pop out a little bit more than those beads. And that, again, completely your choice. Whichever you want to do is fine. We need our hair extensions. And for that, we're going to take a single orange, wrap it on the hook 1, 2, 3, or 4 times. And this is a bit of a job here. We need 10 singles. I'm going to just count them out now. And we're going to take each one of them, double it over, put it on the hook, and make a chain of them. It's 1, 2, ow, got a hangnail here I keep catching my nail on. Be careful, especially with the bands here. 3, 4, 5. I was thinking about Anna Green Gables the other day. It was a book I really loved when I was younger. Do you have favorite childhood books that you wanna share with me? Put it in the comments below. I'd be curious to know what people are reading these days, what you remember from older days, if you're an old geezer like me. And yeah, I thought I really liked Anna Green Gables because she was really spunky. Got a lot of fire and passion and pizzazz. This is going on to the third peg down. And I didn't do this originally, I'd said I looped it in afterwards, but this time what we're going to do is take one part of the piece below and bring it onto the peg below. And that should keep it a little bit tighter into the head. I'm going to set it another 10. And once again, single wrapped 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 or 4 times, and 10 doubled over singles. Almost done this thing. After we loop this up, we just have the hat left to do. I debated when I was making the hat whether I wanted to attach the, the side pieces of it on during looming, like on the loom, or stitch the next part on a little bit at a time across the forehead. And then I decided I would do it the way that I did it. I think it came out looking okay. It's not a terribly complicated way to do it. And yeah, but if you've made other hats and you have a way you like making hats, there's no reason not to try something different out. Always do it a different way or undo it. Just something I like about these. It isn't like Rainbow Loom, beads, macrame. It isn't like paint. Most things with these materials can be undone and tried again. Not that you can't make adjustments to a paint mistake, but I think it can be a little bit harder to fix up. All right, we got this all on. I'm gonna stretch the neck down just a little out of my way and reach inside for the 2 bands that are closest to the top, and they're gonna come around and onto. Oh, it looks like I didn't get the right ones. Maybe we need to stretch this down a little bit more. Looks like my top 2 bands are coming from the far side. And when I bring them over, I should get a nice clean circle here, which is what I'm looking for. And for none of the other sections to get pulled on. So now I know I've got the right one. Stretch down the neck again a little bit and get the next 2 bands and bring them to the side closest to me. Again, we have a nice clean circle in the middle. The last set haven't been pulled, so we're good. I'll bring those ones up. And now I'm gonna loop up on either side, bottom 2 bands only. Been very frustrated lately with my Rainbow Loom, my banding, because I can't get a hold of many of the colors that I like to use, and the colors that of course go most quickly. Like locally, it's not hard to get a hold of blue and pink and green and yellow, red, even white. But I know if I want to get black or gold or skin tone or brown or gray, and those ones, they get a lot of use coming into the middle here. Those ones are very hard to find where I'm living right now, unfortunately. Oh, and let me come back to that 5th peg down. I'm hoping some more become available soon, or that I find myself traveling to a place where they are more easily accessible. So make sure you've looped up on both sides all the way, on the middle all the way, and looped inwards from the sides. Then we're going to take a single gold. Have it on hand on your left hand. Anyway, so that's the reason if I haven't got to your request. Part of it's been time, but part of it's been, what do you call it? A dearth of bands. Put your hook through all the bands on the top center peg with the open part pointed away from you. Catch that single, bring it up and through, and now the open part will be facing up. Bring your other side on and pull the further side over the closer one until it comes over, and this should hold it. You can put this on your finger or a C-clip or a holding hook, and we can remove our end from the loom. I was wrong. We have 2 more parts. The bows, there are the bows to do as well. And those are optional, but I think they're a nice touch. Yeah. So we will get to that in a minute as well. Don't want to forget it. Okay. find the side that you want to have as the front. And if you find that the skin is kind of covering the hair, you can get underneath it and bring the hair through. I'm trying to do this without stretching my bands too much. But on the side of the face, the skin tone's kind of covering it, so I want to bring it to the front. And we can put the securing band onto a C-clip, so I'll come under the back, slide it out of the way, put it on a C-clip. Now, I find I don't use my S-clips very much. If you have any loose bands, you can put them onto that C-clip as well. Right now I'm just popping it onto another to secure it a bit better. And let's do the rim of the hat. Take a single gold, wrap it once or twice, and we're going to put it onto 10 doubled over singles. And basically I'm going to wrap it around all the way around the front of the head and then secure it. 3, 4. You can make this longer if you want to. You shouldn't really have to though, and if you make it too long it might pop out a little bit. So 10 seems to be a good number, but use your discretion there. 11, oh, I lost count, I better check that again. I think that was 7 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a part of my videos where I always go off camera when I try and do the fine finishing work. So I'm going to try extra hard to stay in focus here. I think it's like there are times when I'm just tempted to move the hook and the figure closer to my eyes to see it better or something. But we're not going to do that this time. So when you feel like it's the right length, then you can put on a couple more bands. You can use another color because it's going to be hidden, but I'm going to just stay with gold here. And this time I'm just going to use a single and stretch it through as a single. Put one end over the other and repeat. You can play around with this a little bit. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but it should work. Once you have the length that you want, we're going to wrap this around. I'm going to turn it to the back. And I'm going to come out of that loop. I'm going to reach through the hat piece, reach through a piece of hair, grab the loop, pull the loop through, and put this onto that C-clip. Now if you're worried about this flopping all over the place, you can go through from the back to the front or from a front piece through the straw and hook that in and keep weaving it around until you get back to that C-clip. The last thing we need are the little bows. So again, totally optional, and I'm doing it to match the sleeves, the dress itself, but it's up to you. This part's I don't really have like an easy way for this, but basically I'm going to be wrapping it around and making like a traditional knot. So taking hold of the braid and putting the blue behind, bringing it around, putting one end behind the other as you would for a normal, like a regular knot, and then we're going to push one piece of it under. It's hard to do while keeping it in focus, and through the same way you would do any kind of knot. Pull it nice and tight, and then I double knotted mine. And I have seen other people use their loom to create knots, use their hook to create knots. So again, if you have another method you like better, I won't take offense. You can do it your own way. And once you have it double knotted unsecured, you can pull it down so it's closer to the bottom. Same for the other one. If you want the braids to sit closer, you could do something like this. Go onto the back, go through a little bit of the hair and a little bit of the face, pull the skin tone under and then secure it on a C-clip, and that will make the hair sit closer. Or you could do the same thing right by the shoulder. So those are a couple of options, and I'll show you the finished one again. I'd love to see some of yours. If you want to post pics of your finished products on Instagram, I'd love to see them. And yeah, let me know what some of your favorite childhood books are and what you like about Anna Green Gables. All right, be sure to check out my other videos, and thank you for watching.